We're coming back at you with another lesson, giving out glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem Akakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone to rule and teach well. Peace, love, salutation to the elect 144 first fruit. This is going to be a swift lesson. All right. I just have one example of what I'm going into today, but I'm sure there's plenty more. But pretty much is you got to pay to be a slave now. You literally have to pay to be a slave. You have to pay Esau to work for him. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Usually a slave is free labor. You know, you work for free or whatever. Or, and now, in the past, a few years ago, you work and you got some breadcrumbs, and put it in your pocket. But now, since the economy and gas prices and this and that and the third, shortages here, shortages there, you literally got to pay to work. Some people, I got an article here. Some people can't even afford to Uber, which is their work. They can't even afford their job. That shit crazy. It says soaring gas prices are forcing some Uber Lyft drivers off the road. It says gas prices rose sharply in March, and this article came out in April. So pretty much do the math, right? This article came out in April. May, we're about to be in the end of June. Since April, May, all the way to this point now in June, gas prices went up way more. Over there in California, they're like $8 in a gallon, and that's just for unleaded. So you definitely can't work if you're an Uber or Lyft driver. It's going to be way harder. You're barely going to break even or get any type of, any type of revenue, or that's not the word, but it'll come to me later. You're barely going to break even Uber or driving or lifting or Uber eating or door dashing because the gas prices are so high. You probably make $60, $70 a day, but that's off a full tank. And then you got to refill your tank. You're breaking even, barely. You see what I'm saying? Gas is a bill now that people got to pay every week or every 2 weeks nowadays. So it says gas prices rose sharply in March, accounting for more than half of the monthly increase in inflation. Because of the higher costs, many rideshare drivers are quitting or scaling back. They're quitting because they can't afford to be an Uber driver. They can't afford to work. It says coming out of the pandemic, the demand for rides is high, but inflation and rising gas prices has made it harder for drivers to earn what they once did. Saw an article last night where people are waiting or their flights are getting canceled because there's a shortage of fucking pilots to fly the planes. All right, so what we're experiencing all over again is Exodus, the first chapter. Okay, so this is Exodus 1 and 8, and says, and now there rose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come, and let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. So this is exactly what Esau thinking too, because there are more of us than there is these Edomites, and in Esau, their mortality rate is higher than their birth rate, so they're dying quicker than they're being born. So they know this. So therefore, they're dealing with us wisely, and they're multiplying our sorrows, you could say, quote unquote. They're trying to make things harder. Harder for us to work, harder for us to get food, harder to travel. It's harder to get a job, things of this nature. Verse 11, it says, therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. Right. A simple way to say this is, your boss at your work or whatever. But that's just a small analogy to what that what that really means. You know, you could even think of it in a higher level, as such as these governors and these senates, the House of Republican, the president, vice president, secretary of state, secretary of defense, any type of um, individual who has a power seat to pass legislation, the Congress, the judicial system, executive branch, so on and so forth. These have the power to change your life with a simple signature on a piece of paper. These are taskmasters nowadays, okay? And they afflict us with burdens. That's why the scriptures, matter of fact, let me see if I can get it real quick. Let's see. Isaiah 10:1, it says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed." Here's another one. Daniel 8:25, "And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart." Right? So Esau magnifies himself in his heart through his legislations that he passes. Okay, and through his policy, he uses craft. That's why there's fine print in his decrees that he comes out with. And it says he shall magnify himself in his heart, meaning he shall get prouder and prouder. Exactly what happened in the book of Exodus to the Pharaoh. And by peace shall destroy many. Right. So he claims that he's, showing peace and mercy, but in all actuality, he's really screwing you over. Says he shall also stand up against the prince of princes, which is Yahushua, but he shall be broken without hand. And he says she'll be broken without hand. And that goes back to Second Esdras, the 13th chapter, being broken or without hand. This is Second Esdras chapter 13 and 38, and he says, "And he shall lay before them their evil thoughts and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame, and he shall destroy them without labor." Yeah, so they shall be broken without hand, because it says right here, "He shall be destroyed them without labor by by the law, which is like unto a fire." So going back, the topic at hand, you gotta work to be you gotta pay to be a slave. It's the same thing that was going on in Exodus. It says, "And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel serve with rigor," right? Which I think that word rigor is parak in the Hebrew, which means the hardness. All right. It says, "And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage." Yeah. Soaring gas prices, inflations. These things are done purposely. Higher gas prices, and that's purposely. Esau is purposely trying to tank this place, making it harder for everybody so he can, quote unquote, swoop in and save the day with the chip. Or I can make your life easier if you take this little grain of rice and plant it inside of you. Okay? That's ultimately what he's trying to do. All right? It says, "And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar and in brick, in all manner of service in the field." Yeah, how else did they make it harder? They gave him less things to work with, which made it harder. Right. So in today's case, less money to work with, which makes it harder to even work. You need money to work. You got to commute to work. You got to do this, that, and the third. It's harder. It says, "All their service, wherein they made them serve with rigor." Yeah, with hardness. They made it hard. And that's what's going on right now. You got to pay to be a slave. You got to pay to be a slave. And then when you pay to be a slave, and then the product of your slavery gets you bull crap. This is Psalm chapter 127 and 2. It says, "It's vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows. For so he giveth his beloved sleep." Right. It's vain for you to rise up early, meaning that alarm clock hit that you want to toss at the wall and break. You gotta get ready and go to work to sit up late, meaning you go to work and then you're gonna be at work till 9 o'clock at night. When you got there at 8 o'clock in the morning to eat the bread of sorrows, yeah, eat the breadcrumbs that you got from working 10-hour, 12-hour shifts, and then the bread of sorrows is what you get in your paycheck. And you look at your paycheck, Esau done took out $200-300 for taxes and well, your 401k is good for your retirement and state taxes, and if you're in a state that does state taxes and things of that nature, you gotta eat the bread of sorrows. And you look at your check, you only get $200-300 for a 10-hour work day. You see what I'm saying? Or a 50-hour work week. Some bull crap. And it says, for so he giveth his beloved sleep. So you giving up precious time, okay? Because it says, so give a beloved sleep. Sleep is the leisure, all right? Going into today's time. And leisure time goes back into reading and studying. So you're giving up quality time that you could be giving to the Lord to get some bullshit check. And then you can barely survive off of that check. And then you still got to go to work. You're literally paying to be a slave. Some bullcrap, man. So that's what's going on right now. People are quitting jobs because they can't afford to work the job. How crazy is that? So Lord willing, this was edifying. We'll give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Chakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and rule and teach well. Peace, love, salutation to the elect 144 first fruit, Brother Kasha Qual. Until the next time, we'll say shalom, and like always, repent, for Yahushai is coming back sooner than what me and you believe. All right, shalom.